Hello everyone and welcome back to Knockhatch Adventure Park. Today you join me with the black-tailed prairie dogs. Now, black-tailed prairie dogs can be found in North America. You can find them mostly in the United States, but their range goes all the way from Canada all the way down to Mexico. And they can be found on what is called the Great Plains. So this is a massive expanse of grassland areas, and that is the habitat that they prefer to live in. Now, as that habitat name suggests, the diet of the prairie dog is going to mostly be grasses. So about 75% of their diet is going to be different types of grasses, but they'll also forage for different types of roots, and especially in the winter, they'll even eat things like cacti. They'll go after the prickly pear cactus, and that's actually a really big source of water for them as well. Now, they are part of the rodent family. There is actually 5 different species of prairie dog, and they're all endemic to North America. Now, they are really social species, so we currently have 6 prairie dogs in our group here, but in the wild, they live in these towns. These towns can be up to thousands of individuals, and it can span up to hundreds of miles across. They live in these really big groups, but then within that, there's family units called coteries. Now, these coteries are usually made up of one male and a few females, and they're subdivided into their little family units. Now, the prairie dog is obviously named a dog. It's nothing to do with dogs at all, but they are named after the sound that they make. So the iconic sound of the prairie dog is a bark. Now, that bark is really iconic, and it can be used for a variety of different reasons. They actually mostly use it to actually look out for different predators and alert the rest of their group to these different types of predators. And some studies actually suggest that they can tell the size of the predator and actually how fast it's coming in to try and eat them, so that they can alert everyone to how quickly they need to run underground. So prairie dogs are known as ecosystem engineers. So that means they actually alter the landscape and make it a lot better for the other animals that live there. And they're also known as a keystone species. So about 40% of all animals that live alongside the prairie dogs rely on them some way. So it could be to do with building burrows. Prairie dogs build their burrows, and that's used by other animals like burrowing owls and tortoises and snakes. But they're also used as a prey source for a lot of animals. Animals like the swift fox and the black-footed ferret rely on the prairie dog as a food source. And the most interesting thing that actually relies on the prairie dog is going to be things like bison and pronghorn. These big animals rely on prairie dogs because prairie dogs eat some of the less nutritious grasses, and it means some of the more nutrient-dense grasses are left for these big herbivores to eat. But they're sometimes persecuted by farmers for taking up space on their land, but they really shouldn't be, because like I just said about the bison and the pronghorn, it still works for domestic cattle on ranches, so they get far more nutritious grass where the prairie dogs actually live.